Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're going to take just another moment or two as attendees continue to join us. While we wait, allow me to introduce myself and share a bit about today's session. My name is Joel Tiller, and I am the head of external affairs at the Digital Poverty Alliance. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the DPA, we are an independent charity that unites organizations from across industry, government, and the third sector to work toward a single vital mission, ending digital poverty in the UK once and for all. Through a combination of advocacy, research, and impactful delivery projects, we address this challenge at both the local and national levels. And one of the ways we drive collaboration is through our industry forum, a network of forward-thinking organizations committed to advancing digital inclusion. As a member of the forum, organizations are positioned at the forefront of shaping the UK's path to digital inclusivity. Members actively contribute to the DPA's National Delivery Plan, our strategic roadmap for achieving a digitally inclusive UK, ensuring they play a key role in this critical national effort. Today, we are very pleased to feature one of our industry forum partners, Debbie Akehurst from Central District Alliance. She's joined by Carlo Liu of Capital City College and Colin Adams of Brickworks Community Centre for discussion on how local initiatives empower digital inclusion. From equipping individuals with digital skills to fostering partnerships across sectors, we'll explore how targeted efforts are driving real change in communities. But before we get started, I'd like to invite all of you, our attendees, to introduce yourselves in the chat. Let us know where you're joining from and any affiliations you'd like to share. Also, if you have questions for our panelists, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. We'll save time toward the end of the session to address as many as we can. Now, let's meet our panelists. Debbie, I'll start with you.
Thanks. Morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm Debbie Akehurst, and I'm the Chief Executive of the Central Districts Alliance and Hatton Garden Business Improvement Districts across sort of central London. And we look after in the region of 800-900 levy-paying businesses, but also we support the SME sector as well, which are a really, really important part of the economy. In particular, I think what we're going to be discussing today as well really feeds into that SME sector as well, and micro businesses as well as your big corporate or global businesses. I also chair the London Skills Improvement Advisory Board, and we have actually just launched a report on advanced digital skills. So I'll make sure that everybody has a link to that report.
Great. Thank you, Debbie. Carlo, over to you.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I'm Carlo, and I work at Capital City College Group, and I head up the Digital Skills Academy. And this is funded by the Mayor of London. And for us, our key focus is on working with those key local communities and building those local partnerships to ensure everyone has access to digital skills training, but not just your standard training. It's very much around those industry relevant skills that the economy needs now. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Carlo. And finally, Colin.
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Colin Adams, and I'm the director of Brickworks Community Centre, which is on Crouch Hill in Islington. I also chair a network of 15 community centres across Islington known as Octopus Network. And our focus around digital inclusion is clearly we work with lots of local residents that need access to IT and they need support. And it's about just building up kind of them understanding how they can access some services and some support. So again, we offer free internet access in my centre. Most of my centres do, and we do quite a number of different programs, which I'll touch on as we go on. Thank you.
Thanks, Colin. To start, let's set the stage with a broad question for all the panelists. Debbie, let's start with you. How do local digital inclusion initiatives directly benefit communities, and what measurable outcomes have you seen from these efforts?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that that at CDA, why we kind of got involved in these types of programs, again, is, I mean, our sort of, or our mantra here is very much that we're businesses that operate within a community. So we can't really feel that we have a duty of care to those communities. And that could be things through, you know, the direct work we do around ESG, but also things like Action Fund, which is our small grants program, which is, again, is really important, because that small grants program can help fund programs at a very, very local level. But I think it's, you know, it's really important for businesses as well. So with my LSIP hat on, you know, part of the initial consultation work we did, as an example, one of the biggest concerns for businesses was the speed at which AI and tech is progressing. And so, you know, and what we're about is, we have a program here called Your Future Talent, which is where the Mayor Skills Academies sit under that as well. And that is really, really important to, you know, to what we're saying to businesses is that, you know, these young people in those communities in which we operate are your future talent. But I think it's equally important to remember that this isn't just about younger people. It's also about the, you know, older people that are excluded from this, and also with the growing issue around the cost of living, it's families as well. So this cuts really, really deep into our local communities, but also in terms of us looking at London as an example, or any area across the country, to thrive, we have to ensure that we have a skilled workforce for the future.
Brilliant. Thank you, Debbie. And Colin.
Yes, as I said, the benefits are enormous. It allows people the access to services, to news, to information that they wouldn't clearly get. And just touch on Debbie's point around the elderly, yeah, and it's really important for my elderly people. They're quite anxious and are quite nervous about going on them, given the amount of scams, given the information's out there, and also what they should access and what they shouldn't access. So again, having access to digital and having us as a kind of like a facilitator to be able to access services and support them in doing it, it's really, really important. As I said, we work with lots of different vulnerable people. We have young people with mental health issues that find it really difficult. We offer a form filling service at a number of my centres. We've even got one centre that's offering to do the kind of internet access on their phones, because we know some people don't have laptops. Just giving you an example, during the COVID, we gave out over 400 laptops locally to residents, and then I subsequently found out that a number of them didn't have internet or didn't know how to use them. So again, it's that kind of challenge, as we said, people knowing what to access, how to do it. Again, and different groups have different challenges, we're finding. As I said, my elderly people are quite nervous in going on and just simply knowing how to access websites. We do even simple things like you can access a website. So again, but it's really, really important that they understand that the world's moving to more digitally inclusive environment. So we try to facilitate that kind of transition with them.
Absolutely, that skills piece component is incredibly sort of often overlooked, but an essential piece to navigating. Carlo, can I just get your thoughts on this as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important, actually, you know, both Colin and Debbie, you know, working with people like Colin and Debbie is so important for us at the Skills Academy. You know, we're a big college, so we're quite central. We're in central London, and we serve all parts of the community, and that is key. You know, we're here to empower the community, and I think what's really good about the Skills Academy is we have the scope to kind of work on lots of different projects, so we can innovate and we can address different needs for different parts of the community. And we predominantly at the Skills Academy, we focus on 19 plus, actually. So we've got our younger cohort, which is the kind of essential college, but I focus on 19 plus, so I focus on adults. And because we are funded by the Mayor, we have key KPIs around supporting underrepresented groups. So that is women, 50 plus, ethnic minorities, SEND, and some of the projects that we've been able to work on. I mean, we have a no barriers to entry, so we don't ask for any qualifications for all our training. If you're unemployed or you're on a low salary, all the training is free as well. So that's very important for us. And some of the projects, you know, they can be kind of short courses where you just kind of dip your toe in, or they can be longer courses that lead to internships. And you talked about the impact. Just recently, we've been working with Debbie on a digital marketing internship program, and some of the interns are now out in industry working for some of the employers which the CDA have brokered for us. So, you know, that's kind of real impact, and some of these people will go into full-time work from the training and the hands-on experience that we've been able to offer them.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carlo. Debbie, I'm wondering if we can shift to the role of business partnerships in driving these initiatives forward. The Central District Alliance focuses heavily on partnerships with businesses. Can you share how these collaborations have helped drive digital inclusion initiatives forward and provide tangible benefits to local communities?
Yeah, I think I think one of the things that business improvement districts can bring to the table is that facilitation. You know, we see ourselves very much as facilitators, you know, and we can bring people together, I think, and that's really important from a business perspective, a local authority perspective, mayor's office perspective. So we're enabling people to kind of come together, as Carlo has just said. And for businesses, it's almost like a non-brainer in a way that what we're doing is opening up, you know, working with the college under the Mayor's Skills Academies and, you know, things like the boot camp programs that they run as well, to give young people in particular that route way in. And as Carlo has said, you know, it can be various ways. They can do shorter courses, they can do full, but they can also go on to do full apprenticeships. And that's really, really helping businesses, in particular those levy paying businesses that are, you know, paying the apprenticeship levy for them to actually be able to use their levy as well to invest in their future workforce, which is really, as I said, again, is so important. It's as I say, I think us being able to facilitate those sorts of things is really important. And this isn't about ticking boxes. It's not just about businesses kind of saying, well, we have to do this because of our social value or our ESG, whatever, you know, sort of name that you want to put on it. But actually, we don't have to sell it that hard, because it actually makes real business sense for them to be part of these programs. And as Carlo said, you know, we're doing something on women in tech as well. So I can't remember what the percentage is, but, you know, talking to a lot of our businesses, most of their in-house tech teams are male. So it's really, really important that we do get, you know, females into this industry as well. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, there is a real issue within business as well about the speed of tech. But also, I mean, we ran a business breakfast earlier this year on AI and technology and the impacts on the workforce. And that's kind of looking at actually job losses because of AI, and those jobs that are being taken, not taken, that sounds really bad, but do you know what I mean? It's just around, you know, what are those people going to do? So if some of those roles now are going to be done by AI technology, we need to look at, well, where do these other members of the workforce fit, you know, within this new world, if you like, of AI coming forward. But equally, there's lots of opportunity.
Thank you, Debbie. Carlo, at Capital City College, you're helping people gain the skills necessary for a digital economy. What role do partnerships with local employers and businesses play in shaping your digital skills programs and ensuring they meet the needs of the community?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that partnerships and working with local employers and community groups in the council, I think it's essential. I mean, it's the core focus of how we work at the Digital Skills Academy. It means that we can, when we engage with our partners, it means that we can look at those real in-demand skills that the community and the wider economy is looking for. So that co-collaboration, that co-training, we have an industry skills board, which Debbie was on that last year, and we're kind of refreshing that at the moment. But this year, we have 2 employees chairing instead. So instead of us chairing it, we've got employees chairing it, because they, and then we can and they can support us in different ways, and they can leverage different partners that they have to come and support us in our network. And for us, when we work with our partners, so we co-design and we co-create training. So for example, our UX course is delivered by actual people that work in the industry, but they've also advised us what to put into the training. Also, additionally from those partnerships, we often get guest speakers, we get mentoring, we get paid internships, which is happening now, which is great, which has taken us like 2 years to get off the ground, but now it's happening. Like Debbie said, we feed in to those employers apprenticeship schemes. So we want to be that talent pool that they might come to us. Actually, we've got a vacancy. Can you develop some training to feed into this vacancy? That's what we want to become. And we've got a program called the Live Projects Network, and this is where industry employers, predominantly SMEs and micro businesses, because they just don't have the capacity to have a huge digital marketing team or a huge AI team, will come to us with a real brief. And this is a brief where they're looking for real solutions, and our students that we recruit, or from different courses, will come and work on that brief. So for example, they might want a website designing, they might want to improve their social media presence, they might want to, like recently, the digital marketing interns have been designing digital marketing strategies for construction companies. They've just launched a restaurant for a company. So we're starting to get businesses to come to us actually to help with some of those some of their kind of smaller solutions. And on a practical sense, these partnerships mean that our members and our students get hands-on, real practical experience, which they can take into industry. They've got portfolios, they've got something on their CVs. So it's a two-way benefit. We're helping businesses, they can come to us. We're really flexible. We can design a course within 3 weeks, but also we're supporting the community, and we're supporting students and members to just gain those skills. And like Debbie and Colin said, it's all age groups. It's young people, it's 19 plus. It's anyone that comes to us. We have that kind of no barriers to entry, and we're really proud that we can promote that when we go out.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Carlo. Colin, let's focus on the role of community centers now. They are often a lifeline for underserved populations. Can you explain how local digital inclusion initiatives supported by these partnerships with other community organizations have enhanced access and opportunities for those who might otherwise be left behind?
Yeah, we do a lot of partnership work, and as I said, I work with another local charity that helps us with the 400 laptops. I work with Cripplegate, which is a local funder, and we handed it out. As I said, when we handed it out, we were, the consequences I wasn't really aware of, but people didn't have internet access. They didn't have the skills to be able to do it. A number of so again, we've looked at what we're doing to address that and to make that happen with that. And we've referred people to different organisations, even in fact to Carlo's college, because I know people who signpost people to those. As I said, one of the things that we were quite keen about advocacy as well is making sure that everybody in Islington had access to the internet. We know that's not the case at the moment. I suspect around 30% of people don't have it. I also, in a previous role, did the Inequality Coalition, and we know poverty has a huge increase in terms of people accessing services and support. So we're looking at that. A number of my community centres do around employability, because obviously we're in Islington, we're near the city. We've got a high proportion of young people that can't access some of the tech jobs around All Street as well. So we're looking at we signpost people to the colleges to one-to-one support as well. And as I said, it's just really critical. I mean, some of the big organisations do community development days as well, so that's really important for us because again, we can get upskill what we do within the centres. We can also refer people to more support. The community centres are a gateway. Someone will come in. I run a food bank. I've got 150 people coming in every Wednesday. I can tell you about a third of those have asked me about digital stuff in terms of how they do that. So we know they're coming for us to different. I have an after school club here. I have a nursery. People with that, I provide a nursery of affordable childcare for people on low income. That's a criteria for people using my nursery. So again, it's how entry points. It's about that engagement with people, irrespective of how they get in. It's what we offer in terms of support. What we've done as well is we form a lot with the council. We work with the Bright Stars area, which is family service for their people. They also have access hubs. They've split Islington up to north, south, and central. And you could go on up a street, go into a hub, and get a range of different support and services that you can access. And they work with us because they can signpost them to the more local areas as well. Because a number of people as well, it's all good and well putting them on courses, but sometimes you need to take people and literally by the hand and give them the confidence support so they would go and access it. And we do that. What we've been doing for the last 2 years as well, I just wanted to touch on, we're doing a serious cost of living event. So my community centres, the last one's at the Peel Centre, what we do, we work with a number of different organisations like Shine, lots of different organisations, income maximisation team, the council, and we just do cost of living events because people have been affected. They were affected by COVID, and subsequently we've gone straight to cost of living event, and we talked about them, how they feel quite anxious and what support's out there so we can increase their benefits. But equally, what's happened over the last 2 years since we've been doing this, an increase in people wanting more help around IT support, and that's kind of like, so we've got some outcomes. We know that is a challenge for people, and I think, Debbie, when you said about the scale of the internet, it's really scaring people just about the AI, how they access it. But we're there to help with the transition and help people, support them in terms of them finding it easier and actually know what they need to know, what they need to touch on. So it's all different age groups. I get young people coming to me to help with job applications, from my elderly people knowing they want to buy this online but not certain if it's a scam, blah blah blah, or getting an email. We tell them, don't open the email, just bring them in. And I've just had 2 people just bring in a couple of really dodgy looking text messages they got on their phone. So again, it's all those, everything around that is something we try to factor and support people in.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Colin. I'm going to pause now just to remind our attendees that if you do have a question for our panelists, to please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. Debbie, let's continue with the concept of delivering social value through business engagement. What is your approach to encouraging businesses to invest in digital inclusion, and what tangible benefits have you seen in the communities they support?
Yeah, well, I think it's like I said earlier, I think it's kind of, you're not even having to explain, but just getting that message out to businesses. So it's a core part of when the team here are doing any kind of business engagement, is to really showcase what we do around ESG. And this is kind of where this type of program and our support for the DPA sort of sits within our ESG program. But I think, one of the messages and those conversations we actually do have with businesses, as Colin has just spoken about, is from a business perspective, is that are people job ready? So, and again, I think this is what the benefits of us working with somebody, like Carlo and Capital City College Group and the Mayor's Skills Academy, because we know that they receive those support services around that. As well, because again, it's one of the the biggest sort of questions from business is that, well, if I take somebody, are they actually going to be job ready? And that's a really, really important part for businesses when they're investing in bringing new members into their businesses as well. So it's a really important part of it. But I think also, but when they see the results, so businesses that have been working with us, and then we've still got a long way to go, it's still not perfect, we've still got hundreds of businesses out there that that, you know, we are talking to and engaging with, and hopefully they'll all come on board with this as well. But, you know, businesses have already started to see the benefits of it, as Carlo was saying earlier, around the internship program as well. And I think it's, you know, it's like I keep saying, it makes a business sense. So they're not just doing it because it's a nice thing to do. What you've got to demonstrate to businesses is this is actually for the future of your business. It's your future talent, you know. Keep plugging that program. So, you know, your future talent program, it's, you know, it says what it does on the tin.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Debbie. Carlo, we know that partnerships with local industries are key to ensuring students are equipped with relevant skills. How do you collaborate with tech companies and other sectors to create tailored digital skills programs that open these doors to employment for local residents?
So like I said before, like collaboration is key. It's at the heart of what we do. You know, we can't do this on our own. And we work really closely with some tech companies, but we also, I think we work with all industries, a variety of companies across London. And I suppose it helps us ensure that, like, it reflects the digital skills that are broad and across all industries. So like I said before, we've been working with a big construction group and supporting them, and they've been supporting us with, you know, their digital skills demands, but they've also been advising us, you know, that, you know, their company is very tech savvy and it needs lots of digital skills. So it's across all industries. And they support us with advising us on, for example, you know, what software to use, what the latest trends are, what the kind of key skills that are in demand immediately at both entry level and more advanced. But I'm really glad that Colin and Debbie touched upon the kind of the job ready skills as well, the employability skills. I've got some notes here to make sure that I mention it. So like the technical skills are obviously very important because we're training them to get into a job. But when we do speak with employers, those partnerships have helped us mold those employability skills as well that are needed out there, those job ready skills, like Debbie said, those professional skills. So we very much want to boost our members and our students' employability skills as well. And where it's, you know, it's like time management, it's all the, you know, the usual stuff, team working. Just recently, I mean, a lot of our partners help us deliver those skills now as well. So we've had employees that have done workshops on presentation skills, tips on recruitment, how to present yourself. A really good one is around improving your growth mindset as well. So it's kind of boosting how people feel about going into the workplace, which is really key. So in addition to advising on those expert industry technical skills, they're also supporting us with giving people confidence and those professional skills as well. And like I said before, you know, a lot of our training courses, we've got industry experts teaching those courses as well, because they want to come and work with us. So they might work in the industry, but they'll come and work with us on an internship. Recently we did a graphic design project, and the teacher on that B is a graphic designer and she works in industry, and she's now even supporting some of those students after the course, like she's mentoring them. So those key collaborations, the big companies as well, you know, Microsoft, and we've done some events with Google, but we work across all industries. And I think if there's anyone out there, if there's any colleges or there's people running similar programs, go broader. You know, the bigger companies are key because they've got funding and they've helped us with laptops, but there's also the kind of SME and, you know, different sectors that you can tap into to support your programs, definitely.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Carlo. Colin, I'm hoping we can pick up on something that you touched on just a few minutes ago. Brickworks Community Centre has become a hub for digital inclusion in North Islington. How have partnerships with local councils, charities, and other businesses helped you scale your digital inclusion initiatives? And what impact has this had on the community?
Yeah, I think, as I say, I chair a network of community centres. So when I collate views, we have network meetings, and we touched on digital skills. So we've got organisations that we work. So Google did a community training day for some of the staff to upskill them in terms of learning. And as I said, we do the cost of living events where we do get some people to come in and talk direct to residents. We also we also, when we talk about the kind of the partnerships, we speak to the council. As I said, one of the things about advocacy, we went to the council and said that 30% of people don't have access to the internet. Would you explore the option of putting it on local estates to see? We know that near Camden Road, the internet access is critically weaker than near Highbury as well. So we work in partnership with the council and some other local charities. We have kind of a local wellbeing network, which is chaired with a meeting of statutory and PCS organisations, and there are over 2,000 PCS organisations in Islington, where we work with particular groups like Somalian women, and they come and they tell us this is what we need to do in order to access. And so we then work with an organisation called the Big Alliance, which is a collection of organisations. Say, can you send me your old laptops so we can then get them and subsequently clean them and give them back to people? There's a cost to that to us, but again, it's good to be able to have that kind of access. And it's really important, as I said, at Carlo about making sure about employability, because to break the cycle of poverty, people need to get into jobs, and we know that some of our people don't have the necessary skills. I can tell you there's about 100 odd jobs around Old Street, IT jobs that we're a stone's throw, but our young people can't access because they don't have necessarily have those skills, and that's why the colleges and access to professionals really helps us in terms of that. In terms of measurable low incomes, yeah, I've got small scale. I speak to my network. We've picked up a lot that people need more digital skills. AI creating a huge issue. That's why I sent a number of people to go on AI training last week. But as I said, I think it's a combination of different factors. We do from one-to-one to doing mentoring. I can tell you that the council as well, when I spoke to the council, I got them to give 600 laptops to children who need it for a laptop for school for year 6, 7 for their homework. But we need more of that. We need to do more just in terms. And as I said, it's different variations in terms of how we work with different residents as well, and for different groups. And as I said, being a community centre, we get a number of different people come from lots of different services and support. And it's just important that we've got those partnerships outside, because we talk to them direct and they inform us about what they're seeing as well. So it's really good. As I said, my network meet all the time. We talk about skills. Islington's that part of that ring around the city as well, and we need to have a greater connection with people in the city, and that's what we're trying to establish. We're literally next to them, right next to the city. And as you said, we've got Clerkenwell and Farringdon in the city. We want to make sure that we bridge that gap between what my young people and residents here have in terms of skills and what they need to flourish in the digital world.
Brilliant. Thank you, Colin. This next question is for all the panelists, and it focuses on sustainability. Debbie, local digital initiatives often require sustained funding and support. How have you successfully worked with partners to secure the resources needed to keep these initiatives running long term?
Well, again, I mean, kind of in terms of direct funding, as I mentioned earlier, we have our small grants program and that type of thing. But I mean, the bulk of the funding, I suppose, if that's how you want to look at it, comes directly from the Mayor's office in terms of supporting things like the Mayor's Skills Academy sort of programs. And not to get too political, but obviously sort of looking at the government at the moment and looking at devolution of skills and the launch of their new Skills England programme, which we're still waiting to see the detail of. But what I would hope is, and the work that we're doing through LSIP and the digital report that we've just done has all gone into government. So waiting to see what direction I think we get from a government level and how that then filters down. What does that mean for somebody, you know, for Colin? What does that mean for the communities that Colin serves? It's all very well kind of talking about it in terms of devolution, but it's really, really important. And I know that the Mayor's Office, as an example, has made kind of digital inclusion one of their key priorities, because again, that's just, you know, talking with businesses. And actually there's a round table this week with the Deputy Mayor to talk about the Mayor's Skills Academies and how they can be work better, I suppose, not work better, but what more can we do through that type of programme to address some of these issues that Colin and his counterparts see on a day-to-day basis. So that's kind of, you know, in terms of that funding. But yeah, from businesses, it does tend to be some will give financial contributions, some will be in-kind contributions, and some will be, as we already know, where they will give over equipment, etc., once they are looking at repurposing, you know, or getting in new IT. But again, that can be an issue for businesses around security as well. And one of the questions, we always get asked the same question when I talk about it, about businesses: if you are upgrading, can we have, you know, can we kind of distribute equipment? One of the biggest issues they have is around security and how this equipment is cleansed, and, you know, is somebody going to get into, you know, and even privately as well. I've got 2 old laptops at home and I talk about this stuff all the time, and I'm like, yeah, but actually, does that mean if I give my 2 laptops to somebody, is that, you know, how are they cleaned, and how do we get, I think, that confidence to be able to do that? Because I suspect there's quite a lot of people that have old technology at home like I've got. So it's really about how we kind of can help in that, you know, in terms of getting that messaging out there around confidence around those types of things. But, you know, what we need is more money.
You're absolutely
if
right.
anyone's listening from the government, that's what we need.
Colin, can I ask you to pick up where Debbie left off?
Yeah, Debbie's right. I mean, in terms of non-sustainable funding, we don't. We beg, borrow and steal. I say, anybody comes in, if you've got an old laptop, can you bring it in? I have a deal with a local IT chap that will clean it for a money, but it costs me money to just do it. But as I said, we don't have anything long-term in place. We've gone to the council, got them to buy some computers for local residents. We want to give people free internet access. We do here, but as I said, but I need more businesses to just give me their laptops and their phones, because I know that different communities, migrant communities, find it really increasingly hard as well to access. We work with so many different people that have different challenges. So I just say an open invitation: you've got any laptops, give them to me, clean them, and we'll give them out to people. We know families that need them. You know, I work with different groups, people, social workers, people who work with families, lone parents, and they all come to me and says, Colin, do you have a laptop? And so when I do, I clean them and give them back. But in terms of sustainability, it's just, you know, just going out there and asking people to give us what they can. And dongles as well. I mean, I would also say as well, it's not necessarily just the hardware, it's just internet access. We were really successful getting a local business to give us quite a few dongles. And I know they used to have the free SIM card, the Vodafone in particular. I don't know if they still do them, but we gave out loads of those as well. So again, it's always just looking to see where there's an avenue or where an organisation or company can help us. But as I said, we don't have anything long term. It's like everything else. You know, depending on where, and I know the cost of living is impacted on organisations as well and companies. So it's not just necessarily. So it's helping people that, you know, are benefactors, and I suspect they have challenges as well. But yeah, as I said, there's no long-term funding in place. It's simply just seeing what we can do. And I think free internet access to everybody would be great, but we know that's cost effort. I know the council were doing it. I suspect they may have stopped doing it because of financial constraints or the challenges they face.
Thank you, Colin. And Carlo?
Yeah, it's like Debbie said, you know, we're funded by the Mayor, and I think the skills academies, the Mayor's skills academies were born out of the post-COVID, the London Recovery Plan. And it was, and it's a 2-year program, the Mayor's Skills Academy. I mean, we're in our 3rd year now. So I think if you're running a similar program or you're working with local government, I think it's always trying to demonstrate to them, how we're flexible, how we can work with different parties, and we've got different stakeholders. We're now working with Grow London Local, which is an initiative, again, by the Mayor's Office, supporting SMEs. So we're working with them to develop programs to support local businesses. And we've Colin touched upon how Google have done training for local volunteer groups and that. So we've also offered some training, because we talked to so many community groups, and in the summer, what came out is that they were anxious about AI, or they needed some training around content creation or digital marketing. So in the summer, we offered a program where all our community partners, all the volunteers could come on to all our workshops for free, and we design something for them. So it's working in different ways, and then demonstrating that to government and the Mayor's Office that we work with lots of different stakeholders, and actually you need to, fund us for another year, or, we need to go to phase 2, and working with bids as well, because they, and organisations that can broker for us, and we can collaborate, and we can show, and they can also showcase what we do. It's key to sustainability. It's adapting to the environment, I think. And when I'm working, I'm always thinking, actually, how can I work with different groups in the community and businesses, and then demonstrate the impact of what our programs are doing, and then actually feeding that into the strategy of local government and Skills England, when we finally find out what that's going to look like.
Thank you, Carlo. I'm actually going to stick with you to discuss accessibility within your programs. How are you ensuring that your programs are accessible to all, particularly those who may not have access to technology at home?
Yeah, I suppose also we have to think about the basics. It's actually, if people don't have accessibility and equipment, then they can't even get onto any of these programs. And a lot of people can't even get into college. And some of our campuses, we have 14 campuses across London, we're the biggest central London college, but still we have to think, actually, how are people going to access our courses? So it's so accessibility is at the core of how we design and create our training. And we always try to ensure that it doesn't matter what background you're from, that we build the accessibility into the training. So like I said before, we're funded by the Adult Skills Fund, so training is free. It should be free for the people that need it. So that shouldn't be a barrier. Another barrier is around those qualifications. And I've worked in the FE sector for a while, and we'd have refugees or people coming from other countries, and the qualifications used to be a real issue. If you don't have a level 2, you can't get into a level 3. You've got people that are returning to work, you've got moms, you've got families, Debbie said, how do they access training if they've been out of education for a while? So we have no barriers to entry, which is, we tend to not ask for any qualifications. So that's been key, I think, for people being confident to try something. I'm interested in cybersecurity. Oh, there's no chance I can get on that. Actually, just come and do a beginner's course. You don't need any qualifications. Don't even ask maths and English. Some of the courses we need to look at your English, but you can come and do a beginner's course and see if that's going to work for you. And then our learning environments, whether it's in class or virtual, we design it around inclusivity, we look at flexible schedules. A lot of my training is in the evening, maybe from kind of 4 o'clock onwards or 5 o'clock onwards. We have weekend courses as well. People have got school runs, they're carers. And I'd say 70% of my training on the Digital Skills Academy is online with a live teacher, but it's online, and we have videos as well where, if they miss a session, they can come back to it, so they they can continue on with their training. And again, it's the strong relationships that we have with local authorities, with bids, with community centres, so we can kind of go into those community centres and deliver some of the training for. We're talking to Colin now about hoping to create some workshops for his residents. And standard, we do a load of laptops. You can learn a tablet. All internet is free for students on our campuses. A couple of our campuses open till 11 at night. So as long as you're a student and you've got a pass, you access all those facilities, which includes that free internet.
Thank you very much, Carla. This next question is for Colin. Local digital inclusion initiatives often need to be flexible, right, to address the specific needs of diverse communities. How have you adapted your approach at Brickworks Community Centre, and how have partnerships enabled you to expand and refine your initiatives?
Yeah, so what we did, as I said, I chair a network of community centres, including like Muslim Welfare House, where they speak 15 different languages, so I can signpost them. We also have a network in Islington of voluntary community sector organisations we meet. So we have, and the council fund around 20. There's a booklet, so we can share that about the refugee and migrant community. There's one around Kurdish women as well. And we meet and we talk about, so we mentioned digital exclusion, they would see what their offer is. As I said, I have a local wellbeing network meeting here where they come in bi-monthly, and we just meet when we have particular issues. So last week we spoke about mental health, but I know that if I need someone from a particular background, be it and they needed help with English, I could signpost them to this organisation as well. There's also we also work with like parents and different groups, and again they say to us it may be not, you know, particularly during the day. Like, so for example, one of the things we did here, my community centre, we open from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 p.m. at night. So it allows us to have more flexibility. If people are working during the day, if they've got caring responsibilities, they can come in to see us later on in the time. So we've listened to what residents tell us in terms of the support that they need. Because as I said, we have a network. There's also a network interfaith forum. We've got 7 mosques in Islington, a number of different churches backgrounds as well. So again, we just talk to different groups. As I said, when people come into community centres or they work with the voluntary community centre, it's a gateway. And so we know that once they come in, we can then signpost them, address them, build a sense of trust. Because again, people won't tell you what they initially need help with. You just need to develop that kind of relationship. And once we've got that, we can signpost them. We're lucky in the sense that we've got a really diverse community in terms of people working in different languages spoken and different backgrounds. I should also say that I chair the Islington Library Service, which is the Islington Law Centre, Civil Rights Bureau, and we get a lot of different information data from there about people and access needs as well. So again, with that information in hand, we can go out and think about what we do to address it. So it's ongoing. There's no one or hard fast rule. As I said, some people go in groups. They can go to workshop and they can go and sit down in a class. Other people simply, they won't access that. We need to do more one-to-one support. So we tailor it accordingly when we speak to people. And as I said, it's just ongoing. It's ongoing. It can change. I know I've got 2 elderly people coming in who just will later on today, and I've got a couple of people that's going to work with them one-to-one. So again, it's that having that kind of space where we can have those conversations and then adapt it accordingly.
Thank you very much, Colin. Carlo, let's close with a question about aligning local and regional efforts. In your experience working with the Mayor of London's Academy Hubs, what are the key benefits of aligning local digital skills programs with regional development goals?
Because we're funded by the Mayor's office and we are very much linked and tied into London Skills Improvement Plan, and that will link into those kind of regional links and what the goals are, and that feeds into LSIP. I think for us, we're very London centric. So, you know, we look at what our local labour market information is and what our local needs are. But I think it is really important to look at the wider picture and what's happening across other regions as well. And we do have meetings, and we collaborate with regional hubs, and we share best practice, and we look at how their programs are working for their local areas. But I think I mean, we all tend to have the key same focuses, and our key challenges are the same, and it's around removing tech and financial barriers, and that is like the central focus of how we're trying to work at the Digital Skills Committee and the wider college. Very much, we, like lots of FE colleges around the country, we're that kind of central point in the community. We work, we have that widening participation. We reach people from all different parts of society, and so where that's, I suppose I said, that's our kind of unique specialism. We can reach different parts of society, and I think that knowledge and expertise means that we are one of the key best people to work with local partnerships, with the local community, and with businesses. We're bringing people together, and whether that's on a local level or on the regional level. So I think, yeah, that's what's important.
Right. Thank you very much, Carlo. It's quite evident from today's discussion that local partnerships and initiatives are not just impactful, they're transformative in addressing digital inclusion challenges. And before we move to audience questions, I encourage all of you to reflect on the actionable ideas shared today and consider how you or your organization can be a part of this vital work. The Digital Poverty Alliance thrives on collaboration, and through initiatives like our industry forum, we unite organizations to create lasting change. Joining this network is an opportunity to directly influence the work we do at the DPA and to help shape a more digitally inclusive future for the UK. For more information on how you can get involved, whether by joining our industry forum as a partner, donating unused tech, or providing financial support, please visit digitalpovertyalliance.org or email me directly at joel@digitalpovertyalliance.org. Now, let's turn to audience or attendees' questions. If you haven't already, please submit them via the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen, and we'll address as many as time permits. The first question I have is from an anonymous attendee, and it's to Colin, but to other speakers too. How do you overcome the language barrier on top of digital barriers for those who are new to the UK, or if English is an additional language for them? How do you adapt the delivery of your services?
Yeah, as I said previously, we're fortunate in a position that I've got one of my community centres has people that have over 15 different languages, if that's the challenge. But also, even in our food banks, we have translators. We put them in because we were finding there were challenges around language, so we adapt it accordingly. And we also have an organisation kind of like Disability in Islington. Again, if there's some challenges around people with additional needs, how we access the internet, we speak with them, and they support us in doing that. So we're fortunate in the sense that we can, depending on your background, we can get somebody that you can converse with. And some of our booklets and leaflets are in different languages. So and if I don't have an answer, I go and talk to somebody that's a better place, like the refugee council based in the centre.
Fantastic, thank you, Colin. Carlo, Debbie, I'll throw it to either of you if you would like to follow up on Colin.
Yeah. I mean, for us, so we're a big FE college, so we never turn anyone away. We will look at their level of English, and if it's not at a level to do the training, we will refer them to an ESOL course, and we have a really established ESOL training across all our campuses, so they'll be able to access, and we'll refer them to the ESOL team, and then they can get some ESOL training, and then once they've got to a certain level, then they can come back to us and then they can do some digital skills training. So that's how, we've got that, we have that network of qualifications and language courses. So they, they never feel like actually they've been rejected or turned away. They've just been referred on to and signposted to some initial training, and then they can come back to our training.
Great. Thank you, Carlo. And Debbie?
Yeah, I mean, just really what Carlo and Colin has said. I think it's, for us, it's the real importance about having that grassroots, because I think that's usually people's first port of call, because we will have people entering that are really highly skilled, but as I say, may need help in terms of that ESOL. So I think that's kind of where that help can be better gained, and the guys need funding for that.
Thank you very much. Colin, the next question we have in the Q&A is for you as well. And someone's looking for some clarification. Is the internet access for use in the home for laptops, and in brackets for school or work activities specifically, or these individuals don't even have internet access on their phones, so they don't use smartphones? Thanks for clarifying.
Combination of both. Combination of both, really. We've had people that didn't know they had internet on their phone, so we help them. We give them free internet access dongles for a period. We don't monitor what they use it for. They simply just have it there to be able to access the internet. And if they can't access it at home, they come into our building or to one of my other centres and access it as well. So, as I said, yeah, the dongles were really helpful at the time. We don't have them at the moment, and I know that there are still pockets where it's really difficult to get internet access in Islington. So we keep banging on to council and councillors and said, you've got to sort this out for the help people, because and I think broadband. So I was told around 30 pounds to access broadband services, and again that's unaffordable for some of our residents. And some subsequently won't take up the offer, so we're working with them slowly to get them to understand the wonders of the digital world.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time for further questions, but this has been no doubt an incredibly insightful session. Thanks again to our panelists and attendees for your participation and thoughtful engagement. But before we sign off, I'd like to turn to each of our panelists for their closing thoughts. Debbie, let's begin with you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, thank you to DPA for organising this, because it's, as I said earlier, it's such an important topic, and I think coming together like this hopefully will bring it even more to the fore. I think for me, kind of going back again, I think the real need for long-term funding commitment from government, that is what will make it sustainable. If you are, a local community centre or even a college, if you are having to look year on year, it's really difficult from a strategic perspective to plan and forecast. So, my shout out would be, let's look at some kind of longer term funding commitment, to help.
Thank you very much, Debbie. And Carlo?
Yeah, I mean, like again, there's so much good work out there, and we've just like touched upon it now, and we are, and like I think like a lot of these projects, and I can see that there's lots of people that are running like programs. There's so much good work out there, so it's kind of showcasing what you do. Those key collaborations with stakeholders is really important, to boost whatever program you're working on. So whether you're an employer or you're a community centre, or you're looking for some talent, do connect with any of these skills academies that are out there, because we can work in so many different ways to benefit your residents or benefit your company, or boost your current talent pool. I think it's use these skills programs, and I've worked on them, and if you're kind of a little bit skeptical, but they do make a real impact, and they're working out there. And again, just to reiterate what Debbie says, that funding is so important for this work to carry on. So again, yeah, please do, think about us when it comes to that funding element.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Carlo. And finally, Colin.
Yeah, I just want just echo what Carlo said. It's just really important. It's so critical for shifting some of my people that come into my building that need that support and that help, and more importantly, that confidence, because life's all about confidence, and some of my people don't have it. I run a network in a borough which is the second smallest green space in the country, it's the most congested place to live in London. And the internet, and people are right on top of each other. And because of COVID, people are staying in more, we're not mixing as much. So digital skills are critical in order for people to stay in touch, stay connected, and to be able to fulfill their potential. So I just want to say thank you to all the organisations out there that are supporting residents and colleges that are doing it. It's key. But the real big issue is having a sustainable funding plan. So it's not just a knee jerk. I don't have to then run around with my big and bulk trying to get some more laptops. It'd be great if I didn't have to spend half my time chasing. But as I said, thank you for those people doing what they're doing at the moment.
Absolutely. Thank you, Colin. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at future webinars. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks very much.